in studio, we've got Governor of Machakos County, Dr.Alfred Mutua. Karibu sana kwenye show.
Asante sana. I'm very happy to be here. Mambo ni fresh, as we say. It's early morning. How are you doing, Kwambox?
I'm good. I don't think I've ever seen you in a t-shirt and jeans. And I've met you.
Yeah, because I think you've only seen me during official functions.
Yeah.
Or maybe when I'm traveling or something.
Yeah, I've met you when you're traveling, but never in t-shirts and jeans.
Never in t-shirts. I wear t-shirts and jeans all the time.
Now I know. Now I know.
Now you can see.
Mutua for president. And that's the conversation we want to have here in studio, because it was 2 weeks ago, last weekend.
Yes.
Last
Sunday, to be precise.
Yeah. And I remember I was invited for that, but I was unable to come through. But I watched it online. And right off the bat, you've just let people know that you want to be president. Why?
Yeah, because it's time to change the scenario that we have in this country. You know, we've been shortchanged, my friend. You know, when you think about where we are today and where we're supposed to be, it's a world apart. And I'm not saying that the leaders that have been there have not done a good job. They have done the best they could, but it's been 60 years of experimenting and a formula that is not working. I don't know that you eat ugali.
Yes, I do.
You eat ugali. You know, there are different ways of cooking ugali. When you cook ugali, you can either have too much water or too little water, and it doesn't cook. So the mix needs to be proper. You need to have the right amount of water, even if it's rice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get bad food. So we've been cooking ugali, but it's not really done much for us, because countries like Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, Thailand, that were at par with us, even poorer than us during independence, are now loaning us money, are now much, much, much richer than us. In this country, people are going to school, they are getting educated, they have no jobs. People cannot access credit. You look at the state of our roads, you look at the state of our economy, you ask, where did we go wrong? Yes, these leaders have been there, but the methodology, the style of cooking development has been flawed, has not been the proper one, and it's about time to bring it back to where it is. I said during my speech that computer ya Kenya imehang. Kenya's computer has frozen. So what does that mean? When a computer is frozen, what do, Kwamboka?
Reboot it.
You reboot it. It's time for us to start afresh. And we have to start afresh by saying it's like a new independence. And we start with new independence leaders. So I'm saying that for now, let's start afresh. Nasema mambo ni fresh na Mutua. We start with somebody who is young, dynamic, who understands the challenges we faced. Somebody with international experience. Somebody with both national and county government experience. Somebody who knows what ails Kenya. And somebody who has a vision, who has dreams and has the ability to transform our country. We shouldn't suffer. I mean, why is it that a young child, a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, I'm calling him child, but you know, they're young people, 20-year-old, 25-year-old in South Korea is driving a car. South Korea. Whereas here in Kenya, watu wamekaa nyumbani. Hata vijana wameshindwa kuoa. Because, you know, hata mkatiaje dem, kama ana chapa. Akiangalia dem ambie sasa, hi. Msichana namwangalia anasema, you know. So that's where we are today. So I'm giving a message of hope, saying that all is not lost. Once we reboot and we get out of these tribal cocoons that we've been put by these leaders, every weekend it's all about tribe. Ni Waluya hawa, ni Wakisii hawa, ni Wakamba hawa, and this concept of the kingpin. That is what has made us remain poor, and will continue remaining poor forever unless we're able to break away from this.
I like that you've started there, because the truth is, starting let me start as far as yote wezekana bila Moi. In Kibaki's regime, it was all about development and opportunities for the youth. And the biggest promise was, youth, we got you. You know, Kibaki came, Kibaki went. And the one thing that remained constant is youth are still unemployed. Youth are still, you know, it's like life is getting even worse. Here comes Jubilee, 10 years, which is almost about 8 years about to lapse. And still, right now, as we're speaking, leaders are talking about promising the youth jobs. So what makes your promises different?
And you see, the difference is that when I worked for Kibaki, I was there in the government when we formed the youth ministry. I was there when you formed the youth fund. I was there when you started getting into manufacturing. You see, when the economy is growing at a rate of 7.1%, it means that people are getting employed. But where are we today? Everything seems to have stood still when the Jubilee government came in because of the internal wrangling within the Jubilee government. Nothing has really moved. In terms of corruption, we found corruption.
Yeah.
There was massive corruption in the 80s in this country, in the 90s. We found corruption. We started stemming corruption. We are back to where we were, even worse today in terms of plundering of government resources. You see dams that are supposed to have been created, they are not there. That money imekulwa na mtu, and that mtu anakuja anakupatia handout, unasema ni wewe tu, tunataka kuwe rais. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do different is that I'm going to revolutionize our economy. The problem is that in Kenya we don't grow the economy. We are fighting over the same sufuria of ugali. Why can't we have 10 sufurias to share to everybody? We need to expand our economy, and I'm going to do that through several things. The first thing is that we need to eliminate bureaucracy. We are very bureaucratic in this country, and bureaucracy is what kills us. Bureaucracy is what breeds corruption. You know, even just getting a title deed, getting a birth certificate, getting a passport, licensing a company, getting approval by KEBS to start your business, anything. It's so bureaucratic in this country. It takes forever. Do you know, Kwambox, that for an investor coming to Kenya to put in their billions to employ 20 to 100,000 youth in this country, that for them to just get their licenses and permits, it will take them 18 months if they're lucky, and 2 years depending on who they bribe. In Rwanda, it's only 2 weeks. So will an investor put their billions in Kenya or go to Rwanda? They'll go to Rwanda if they can make the money in Rwanda. So we have become so bureaucratic in everything. Cases in court never end. Everything is perpetual in this country. Who is suffering? The young people. This older generation, they are comfortable. Wamejenga nyumba, wako kwao, wako sawa. We kijana ndio uko nyumbani unahangaika mpaka lini? Umeona? So first thing is I'll just eliminate bureaucracy. By eliminating bureaucracy, you create 1 million jobs at a go. Tried and tested all over the world at a go. Then now we expand manufacturing. We enable our people to come in, and I want to build what I'm calling village industrial parks in every ward, in every constituency to start with.
What are those?
What you do is that you put up a business park like an EPZ, and the government does all the infrastructure. You do the water, you do everything, you do the warehouses, and then you bring in investors, both local and international, to invest there. Once everything is done, it's easier for somebody to just go and plug in. It's like a business park for young people, but now it's a business park for industries. So people come and find everything is in place. All they need to do is just get in and plug in. That will bring jobs to all the wards in our country, so people don't have to go. We revive all the failed industries. The ones that are defunct, kabisa, we don't need them, you close them down. Don't continue pumping money in something that is hemorrhaging. You fix it properly. Don't do it emotionally. Do it scientifically. You take it. Now, the biggest employer in the world is the small and medium enterprise, the SMEs. They employ over 80% of the world population. In Kenya, we've got bills, we've got papers, we've got money set aside for SMEs. The proposals for small and medium enterprises have never, ever, ever been implemented. They implemented in piecemeal. The first thing I'll do is also implement them. All of a sudden, you'll see small, medium enterprises going up. Instead of employing 5 people, people employ 20 people. Those are jobs that are created directly and indirectly. The third thing is this, is access to credit. We have to revolutionize our banking system. Today, it's only the able who can access credit. Unaambia mtu, young person, come to the bank, we'll give you money. You want $500,000 to promote your business and expand it. Ukifika hapo naambia ulete title deed. Now you've grown up in kitongoji duni like me. Your father lives in a shack. You don't even have a piece of land, you're a squatter. And then the bank is telling you to bring a title deed. Utatoa wapi? So the systems that have been put in place are working against us. They're maintaining the status quo. So the rich will continue being richer and the children of the poor continue being poorer. So we need to reverse this. We need to have opportunities. The reason they call the US a land of opportunity is because there's a fair ground where you go in and the system is such that it doesn't matter where you come from, you're given a helping hand. You are able to come up and be able to compete in the marketplace. But to do that, you also need fairness. How do you have a fair country? Do you feel it's fair when you go before a court of law? Do you feel it's fair when you apply for a job? Do you feel it's fair when you're going to seek any government service? It's not fair anymore in this country, you know?
We're going to take a short commercial break. 14 minutes past 8 a.m. Remember, I've got Governor Mutua in studio. He's letting it known that he has aspirations to be on that ballot in 2022 as a presidential candidate. Whatever questions you have, remember to use the hashtag VibesMVP. I see all your questions. Bwana Governor,
Dio.
It's all fun and games all those things that you've mentioned, but there's one thing that has been a crutch, a problem for every successful government, which is corruption.
Yes.
15 minutes past 8 a.m. I'm going to let you think about how you're going to do all those things by first tackling corruption.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.
And in studio, we've got Gov.Alfred Mutua, who's talking to us about his aspirations to be president come 2022. Jina yake itakuwa kwa ballot. I'll see you.
Sema redeem. No, si kwa ballot tu. Itakuwa kwa ballot na tutashinda.
Kabisa.
Because we're not just doing this for show. We're not doing this just to be seen, to be asking to be running for president. We're doing this just because, just like Obama, when he started 2 years before the elections, we've started our journey, and our journey ends at State House. But our journey ends when we get our Kenyans to have money in their pocket, because that's what everybody wants, to have more money in their pocket. 2
consecutive terms as governor.
Yes.
And you've been at the top of the list of best performing governors, I think 3 years in a row.
I think since I became governor.
Since you became governor.
Yes.
What would you say is that one thing that, or 2 things or 3 things that you've definitely revolutionized Machakos?
It's just the way we do things in Machakos. People always ask me, Mutua, where do you get the money from? It's because I use a different form of leadership methodology. I am creative. I am innovative. We build a stadium in 1 month instead of 10 years, spending a fraction of the money. We build a Machakos People's Park. Now that opened up Machakos to tourism, because the service industry and tourism can bring into what you call soft money, where you've not invested a lot. I've been able to build infrastructure, build roads. People say, barabara za Mutua zitaisha. The roads are still there. I've opened up the economy. I've lit up the place. But it's the way I look at leadership. I look at leadership as service. And you're supposed to do what you do with the little you have for the majority of the people. Let me give you an example. When I became governor, they gave us money to buy big cars, magari ya kifahari, 140 million shillings. That is a time when our mothers in Machakos were dying on the roadside, bleeding to death, giving birth, being taken to hospitals with wheelbarrows and kokotenis. A county with about 1.2, 1.3 million people at the time only had 4 ambulances. Na mbili zilikuwa zimeharibika na hizo zingine hazina mafuta. A whole country, watu wanabebwa na boda, somebody is dying, being taken to hospital with a boda. I say this is primitive. This is like living in the 17th century. So instead of buying expensive cars, nikajinyima, nikanua second-hand vehicles for 35 million. I added more money. I bought brand new 80 ambulances, 1 for every administrative location. We have 40 wards, about 75 locations. I've added them, they're about 90. Now, Machakos has the best response time in terms of healthcare ambulances. They get you to 2 to 5 minutes. Majority of people in accidents die because of bleeding, not because of the impact. So we're able to save lives. I have revolutionized the Machakos hospital. If you go to hospitals in Machakos, I've built community hospitals all over. They are clean. They are second to none. I have added more health workers. They are motivated. Our mothers shower with hot water. I have brought up the standards. People think it's a private hospital. I have the only county with the Machakos Cancer Center. Why? Because I realize in this country, there are the haves and the have-nots. If you get cancer and you are poor, you just die. Nasema tulimpenda lakini Mungu alimpenda zaidi. Our mothers, our fathers, our young people just die. If you get cancer and you are rich, you get into a plane, you go to India, you go to England, you go to South Africa, you are treated, you live much longer. Why? Na si wote tuliumbwa na Mungu. So I formed a Machakos Cancer Center. It is the only cancer center by any county whereby you go to that hospital and you do chemotherapy, you are treated, and even if your bill is 10 million shillings, do you know how much you pay? You pay 0. It is free of charge, because in Machakos nobody pays for any treatment. You can go for surgery, you can go for anything, you can get your medication. It's free of charge. So I'm very proud about our healthcare, because you can fall sick anytime. So if you come to Machakos, chances of your surviving if you fall sick or get into an accident in this country are higher in Machakos County than anywhere else in the country.
It all sounds beautiful. I got to be honest. When we go towards elections, a lot of young people, they hear the promises. They're like, wow, that sounds fantastic. But the reality is there's one mammoth, that Kenya has been unable to fight. And all the best efforts of, ideas and visions always just get, the stumbling block is corruption. The first question I'm going to ask you, Governor Mutua, have you, in your tenure, in your service to Kenyans in public office, have you ever been corrupt?
I have never taken a bribe. I have never given a bribe. I have never induced anybody to give me any money for any service. That's why people ask me, Mutua, you're given the same amount of money as other counties, fraction-wise. How are you able to do 200 kilometers of tarmac road? How are you able to do 500 boreholes of water? How are you able to pipe 400 kilometers of piped water? How are you able to do all these nearly, 493 dams? How do you do it? When I became governor in Machakos, we were being given food relief. We call it mulio, the shame of food relief. I looked at the world. I realized that Machakos receives more rainfall than Israel, than Lebanon, than Jordan combined. But those countries are not given food relief. Why then are we given food relief? Can't we use our brains? So I decided to expand the agriculture sector. I bought tractors for every ward. So as a result now, and I gave free seeds to our farmers and free chickens to our mothers, Machakos has been removed from the food relief. You cannot do these things if you're corrupt, because you're trying to make deals. How am I able to build more roads? Because I don't take any money. I squeeze the contractor to get the works done. Sina rafiki wa contractor mimi. Contractors fear me. Wananiogopa. People say I don't pay contractors. I don't pay the ones who don't work. If you work, I pay you. Lakini unakuja, you're supposed to weka lami ya 3 inches, unaeka 1 inch. I'm not going to pay you. Go to court. I won't pay you because you're not stealing from me. You're stealing from the people of Kenya, the mothers who pay taxes. I'm not going to be a party to people who continue, misusing our people. And because I don't take bribes, I can be hard on the contractors. And so the problem we have in this country is our culture of rewarding corrupt people. Ule anaiba zaidi, anatengeneza pesa, ndio huyo mnampigia kura. Mnasema huyo ndio mdosi. Huyo anawapatia handouts. And then tomorrow unasema huna kazi. I usually tell a story and say that, you can actually finish yourself.
Yeah.
As a society, we can actually kill ourselves. People have been to America. I've been to England. They laugh at us. They think Africans have small brains. They think we Kenyans have the smallest puny brains. We are closer to the monkeys because of the way we behave. In those countries, if you have stolen, if you have grabbed land, you can never be a leader. But here, yule mwizi anaiba pesa, analeta kwa makanisa, anapeleka kwa maharambe, anapea nini, huyo ndio mnasema huyo ndio mtu wetu. Because they know that mwizi ni mwizi. Let me give you an example. A politician anakula pesa. Ile alikuwa anapaswa kujenga barabara, hakuna barabara. Ile pesa ya kununua ambulance, hakuna. Hiyo ilipewa tenda, ikakulwa, ikaisha. Madawa kwa hospitali hakuna. You are sitting at home. Your kid falls sick. Ameumwa na nyoka ama amekula chakula mbaya, in the middle of the night mtoto ni mgonjwa. Unatoka hapo nje. Unatafuta ambulance, hakuna. Unatafuta gari, unaletewa mkokoteni. Inakubeba, shaking. Unapata ka taxi, kana kubeba usiku in the middle of the night. Barabara ni mbaya. A journey of 30 minutes takes 3 hours. The kid is getting sick. You get to the hospital. Mtoto hapo, hospitali ni mbaya. You find the doctor, not motivated. Unaambia daktari, mtoto wangu anakufa. Daktari anasema hakuna madawa because ilikulwa na ule mtu wa siasa, mtoto anakufa. Sasa now, when you have your matanga, the bloody politician who ate the money for anakuja anakupatia 100,000. Unasema ni wewe mheshimiwa, ni wewe tu, kura ni kwako, ndio mtu wa Mungu. Wewe upati kila kitu unapa. You elect the same politician. Mjinga ni nani? So when they look at us, I've been to Washington DC. I've heard the snide remarks. When our minister walks, they snide remarks because they know they are corrupt, and they think that the people who are the people who are making them leaders are the ones who have small brains, and that is Kenyans. And I'm saying to the young people, let us not continue this shame of being looked down upon. Let us tell the world that we can also think, that we can also do ile inaitwa self-preservation. But hiyo swali yote nimekujibu yote, sijakwambia I'm going to fight corruption.
And I have not even asked that. So my next question is, it's all fun and, you're saying that me, I'm not corrupt, and I would, you look at my history. I haven't dipped my hand in the cookie jar. But your fellow governors have fought.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.
And prey to that temptation of corruption. And being a president, even with your best intentions, look at what's happening in Senate right now. They can't make up their mind on the cash allocation. The governors who've been allocated, some have either not spent the money, some have not done anything yamana, wengine wamekula pesa. So how would you fight this menace that's corruption? Because it's indifferent. Maybe your county, you've managed to sort it out. But what lessons have you learned in your county in fighting corruption that you can take national?
I think it's the biggest problem with this disease is that we've been fighting the symptoms, not the disease. And what we need to do is look at what causes corruption, what encourages corruption. And corruption is all about greed. It's all about unfair rewards to people who haven't done much. Hii mambo ya deals na nini. I talked about bureaucracy. Bureaucracy breeds corruption. When you need 32 signatures just to get a document, you can be assured at least 5 of those signatures will require something kidogo, the document is songe. When things take forever, when you need a passport to travel somewhere, and in Kenya they tell you it will take a month or 3 weeks, whereas in Australia it takes 24 hours. In Kenya, you'll be forced to bribe so that it's okay. So you eliminate this corruption, you eliminate these procedures, it becomes difficult. The second thing is the judicial system. I love the judiciary. It's a very important component of our constitution, and we need it. But our judiciary needs to be empowered. We need to empower judiciary to actually be able to dispense justice in a fair and a speedy manner in the following way. Judiciary needs to be given enough money to have enough judges, enough courts, to hire more judges, to hire more magistrates so that cases can move. When it comes to cases of corruption, we need, from the time somebody is handcuffed to the time the case is determined, should not be more than 6 months. We do it for political campaigns, political petitions. So you see, political petitions are more important than fighting corruption, because the rules say from the time somebody you've been elected to the time your petition is done with, it has to be 6 months. Umeona? So for politicians it's okay, lakini corruption, it can go on forever. So that within 6 months, either you're in committee, unakula maharagwe, or you're innocent, you're going back to your life. That will change the way corruption, so that you are arrested this year, you're convicted this year, unaenda jela this year. See mambo ya kudrag on.
You're the president you're the potential president who's saying that if you vote for me, you're going to see people go in for corruption.
They're going in for corruption because we'll make sure that they've
and not the scapegoats. Not the scapegoats.
No, not the scapegoats. You ensure that the people who go to jail are the people who stole. And I'll come to that aspect. You see, let me give you an example. There's a case of Chicken Gate. People did a corruption, allegedly, whatever they say here. You have to say allegedly now.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Bribes were given for IBC, papers, printing and everything. The people in the UK who had facilitated the bribing, who are part of that scheme, were arrested in the UK, were convicted, served time, their assets were taken, they were in jail for 3-4 years and were released. The case in Kenya that started at the same time as the UK one, haijafika katikati mpaka wa leo, 7-8 years later. We are not serious about fighting corruption. You cannot say we are serious when it's taking that long. So we have to actually get our act together so that even wale wameekelewa wanaachiliwa. Now you find that people say that you don't get fair justice, in court. So I'm going to also get Parliament to pass a law that says any judicial officer, any legal judicial officer who participates in graft, getting hongo for magistrate for any case, you get life in prison. So get that 100,000 to go against that woman in a land case, get that 1 million to go against that corrupt person, you will get a life in prison without parole. So we ensure that is passed, so that now judicial officers also realize they need to be fair. We need a country whereby when you go to court, you realize and you lose a case, you know that maybe you hired the wrong lawyer, or maybe you were meant to lose the case because you didn't have a good case anyway, not because judge aliongeleshwa jana usiku, the prosecutor aliongeleshwa huko nyuma. We need a fair country. And third is also assets recovery. So if you're accused of corruption, we freeze all your assets. And then we tell people, when you are convicted, all those assets come back to the state. Because uliiba. Ikiwa ngambo, ikiwa happy, all those assets come back. It's not just about and then lastly, it's lifestyle audit. Umeingia, ulikuwa na kagari kamoja. Within a few years uko na gari 20, uko na palatial homes, uko na mashamba kila mahali, uko na makampuni. Hiyo pesa ulitoa wapi? Ukituonyesha ulipata mkopo, ulifanya hivi vizuri, ni sawa. Lakini tunajua nyingi zao, you cannot have all those things over a period of 2 to 3 years, 4 years. Ulitoa wapi kama sio mali ya serikali? So we are going to enforce lifestyle audit.
I like it. Would you go through a lifestyle audit?
I've done my lifestyle audit. I'm actually the only leader, I think, in this country who took their documents to EACC. Nikasema, these are my documents, these are my wife's documents, these are my parents' names, and these are my bank accounts, the bank accounts of my people. Investigate me. Because I want this country to have a culture of saying, be proud of what you have. Yes, I have my money. I've been running my businesses since I was 19 years old. I have had my assets, but I can account for each and every piece of property that I have. I can account for each company that I have. I can tell you, this is how I got this. I have documentation. I can tell you where I got the money from, how I have grown the money. Others cannot.
There's something that you mentioned about, you get the legislators to pass a law. And one of the biggest challenges we have seen with our legislators, as we take a break, is it seems that Parliament is not on the same tangent as the populace. Why am I saying this? Some of the laws that keep being passed, the ones that are actually really like Formula 1 style, is raising of salaries.
Yes.
This one that the president has refused to sign recently, which was pensions. How will you? I understand you going in and you're focused. You have your ideas, but do you see people who have the same vision as you, who are running for MP, who will be able to align with your vision? Because if you've got a great vision and we've still got the same, for lack of a better term, feces. How would not feces, my feces? How will you be able to pull it off? 26 minutes to 9 a.m. A lot of your questions coming in. I am bundling them up together. Of course, remember, use the hashtag VibesMVP. We've got Governor Mutua in studio telling us about the future of Kenya with him at the helm.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.
We've got Governor Alfred Mutua right here on Morning Vibes. Remember, it's your captain of good vibes. They call me Kwambox, and I'm speaking to presidential aspirant.
Yes.
Mutua, Governor Alfred Mutua. And what your party is called? Fresh?
No, my party is called Maendeleo Chap Chap. My movement is called the Fresh Movement.
Fresh Movement.
Nasema mambo ni fresh na Mutua.
Eish. Fresh.
Fresh. We want fresh. What is the opposite of fresh? You don't even need to say it,
A lot of questions coming in. Some asking about education. Shout out to Carol, who's talking about education shouldn't be about money. Quality education.
Quality education should be about opportunity. You see, you find a lot of young people who cannot get jobs because they don't have skills. You ask them, why don't you have a skill? They say, I come from a poor family. I just finished Form 4. My parents could not take me beyond maybe a certificate, a computer certificate. So what I've done in Machakos, what I'll do in the rest of the country is this. In Machakos, all our youth polytechnics, all our county polytechnics are free of charge. You can go in there, study accounting. You can go in there to study beauty. You can go there to do a mechanic, do electrician. You can gain a skill. And all you need to do, the only cost to you will be waking up in the morning, dusting yourself, and going to class. Wow. We even pay for the money that you even pay for your what they call the exam fees that you need to do for national exams to qualify. We pay for everything. Wow. Because I don't want my young people to say sina kazi. So when you find young people who have not gone to school, sina kazi, it's because they are lazy. It's because they have refused or they don't know that you can just walk in. So our polytechnics are free of charge. We've remodeled them, we've hired the teachers. So if you're a young person from Machakos County, don't just sit at home, go and get a skill. The other thing is we need to educate our people is that it's you don't just say you're educated. People are not hired because they're educated about something. I don't know. Kwambox, what did you study?
I studied international relations.
International relations, which is what you're using right now, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you see, the knowledge that you had, you have to also be able to be flexible because it's about knowledge and how you are able to market yourself and do more than just what you studied in school. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people say when you're accountant peke yake. You can be an accountant but also work as a farmer.
True.
You know what I mean? Because then what somebody once said that Education is that which you remain with once you've forgotten everything you learned in school. Education is supposed to shape you. Somebody also said that plants are shaped by cultivation, people by education. You are shaped so that you can get to the marketplace. So people need also to open their look at opportunities. In the US, they have a program. You see now, as I talk about the US, look at how we've dealt with COVID. In countries like Singapore, South Korea, you go to countries like Australia, every household was being given 100,000 shillings per month to cushion you. Imagine. Unemployment benefits, in Australia. In the US, people who are fired as a result of this, or people who don't have work, are given what's called unemployment benefit. You're given $600 to $1,000 a month to keep you going. And then there's what they call retraining programs. So you've left one job because that industry imeenda chini. You go, the government actually retrains you. They pay for you as they give you a stipend every end of the month so you can get back to the job market. Why can't we do those things in Kenya? And I'm going to initiate them in this country. But to do that, you also need to widen the base. It's all about money, Kwamboka. It's all about money. And you have to widen the economic base. When you widen the economic base, you lower the taxes so that people have more money to spend. My brand of economics is consumer economics, which says, for example, I don't want to mention brands here, but let's say kuna mafuta ya kupika and you buy that mafuta ya kupika. Now, if there's money in circulation, you are widening the base and somebody goes and buys, so you get 2 to 3 people who get jobs through SMEs. They go and buy that mafuta. All of a sudden, the shopkeeper will realize this mafuta inaenda sana, atambia factory. Factory will have to hire a crew to work at night to satisfy that. As a result of that, the crew that is hired will now be going back to buy the same mafuta. The shopkeeper will have to add somebody else to work. That somebody else now will give money to their mother who will come and buy the mafuta. All of a sudden, the orders will increase. The factory worker now atambia mkulima, I need more raw material. Mkulima ataandika another 10 casuals, they supply more raw materials. How casuals wakipata pesa, wataenda wanunue ile mafuta. Now the orders increase. It becomes a cycle. That is how you grow an economy. You don't hoard money. You pour money into the economy, so it's circulating. So we also need leaders who understand how the economics works. You need to have leaders who understand what it means when you raise the interest rate in terms of credit, the T-bills and all that. I've spent a lot of my time studying economics, practicing economics, even though my degree is in journalism and media. Because as a leader, you have to understand. But when we elect our MP, when we look at our presidents, when we look at people governing, do they really understand international politics? Do they understand the dynamics of international trade? Do they understand what it means to actually use the microeconomics, and macroeconomics, from the village up? To grow this, unaelewa? So you need somebody who is clued in because tuache kubahatisha na mtu ati kwa sababu yuko na pesa anatuhonga, anapeana sijui hapa na hapa. Tupate mtu ambaye anaelewa how the economics goes, because at the end of the day it's about more money in the pocket. Kwamboka.
Before we go back to the question about legislation.
Yes.
I want to talk about economics.
You say legislation ama uliongea juu ya mafisi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feces. When it comes to one of the biggest projects in the 254 where Kenyans have invested money in their future is the SGR.
Yes.
If you were president, what would you have done? How would you have taken that deal? Because when you read articles, when you look at the deal, it seems like Kenya was shortchanged. You look at other presidents, other countries that have had deals with China. There's a renegotiation, but it seems like ours was, we bought it at the highest price ever.
I think it's a scandal waiting to erupt. Kwamboka, I realize the problem because in 1898, the colonials started building the railway. They call it the Lunatic Express.
Yes.
From Mombasa and
to Lake Victoria.
And it took only 4 years. They didn't have telephones, they didn't have planes, they didn't have fast-moving ships. They had to import everything, and yet they were able to put that railway line in 4 years. We spent about 5 years to just build a railway line from Mombasa to Nairobi. Not even all the way. First of all, it took longer than 1898. Why? We are talking about nearly over 100 years plus later. It's taking us longer. Why? That first is the first red. The warning.
Red flag.
Kuna shida hapa. Second thing, you look at the way the the way they build it. Yes, we need an SGR, we need a wide railway and everything, and then it was built. But I feel that the way they moved it away from the towns, and the way it crosses through places where there is nobody, also added to the cost because we are starting anew.
Yeah.
What I would have done is this: I would have just pulled out the old railway that is there and put up the railway that we have on the same piece of land, because they were saying buying land is expensive.
Yeah.
And it becomes ads. No, toa hii weka hii. Toa hii, see, it's the same space.
Yeah.
There's already an existing railway line. Ilijengwa na wakoloni. Toa hiyo weka hii. It's that simple. Where you have to add bridges. Wacha ipitie kwa towns, let the towns grow. It would have been very, very simple for me. I remember asking President Uhuru Kenyatta, why is the railway line ending at Syokimau? Syokimau is not Nairobi Central, CBD.
Yeah.
When I go to Roma, the train line in Roma ends in Roma. In Milano ends in Milano. In London ends up in London, in the middle of London. You know, hapo near Piccadilly. If you go to New York, the central train station is called Central Station because it is central. It is the middle of New York.
Yeah.
Why are we putting ours so many kilometers away? Ati wakasema because the bill walimpatia ya kutoa ya kununua land between there and here, you know, was going to be more expensive than the entire railway line because people are just capturing on, people are just looking at grid, you know. People are just looking at kadil kajengwe you know. I would have brought that railway line here, ninge pull hii mzee ambayo iko niekelee hii mpya hapo, so that it passes through Syokimau and comes and ends up where? At railway station. Make it a grand railway station like the rest of the world. Wacha watu ifike Nairobi city center.
Yeah.
Umeelewa?
Nimekuget.
Yeah.
Bwana Governor, I like that you mentioned bridges because we got to talk about BBI, which is currently, it's let's just say it's something that politicians in the political class, nyinyi mnaelewa BBI ni nini. But when you come to the people, starting last year into this year, thank God for COVID, but now it's back in full effect, talking about changing legislation. What do you have to say about BBI? Is it something Kenyans should embrace?
I think it's time. You see, I had a conversation with some of these leaders. I met Raila Odinga, I met Uhuru Kenyatta. And when they talked about BBI, they said, for how long will our country continue every 4 years, every 5 years, have an election where people kill each other?
Yeah.
Basically tear each other apart, where people go to court. Why can't we have a system where it is not winner takes it all, where you expand the government like they have done in Italy, where you expand the government that they have done in Germany or France, so that you have a president, but you also have a prime minister, and you also have other leaders, so that when people are voting, they're not just looking at tribal lines, they're looking at coalitions with different types of people from different parts of this country, so that you feel like even if you are driven by that tribalism bag, you feel like hii group iko na mtu wangu, hii group iko na mtu wangu, hii group ni mtu wangu, so that you stop voting for people based on tribe. Now you start voting for them based on policies and what they can take.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. And I support BBI because of that aspect of expanding the country, so that we stop concentrating on just the tribe na mahali umetoka, so that you don't have a few tribes always ruling just because of the population. So you can actually diversify this country, so that every child in this country can dream to be a president and become a president. The other thing is to look at some of the issues that were not dealt with properly. You look at, for example, the issue of the judiciary, the issue of county governments. We're only given 15%. Look at the miracle that I've been able to do in Machakos using the small monies that I get. If I had more money, I would be able to do more. If counties get more money, they're able to do more. If you leave it to the national government, look at what is happening in parliament now with this division of labor.
Yeah.
If you leave it to parliament, it becomes a problem. Let it be in the constitution, we get 40-45% of, because nearly everything is devolved. Agriculture is devolved, but majority of agriculture money remains in the national government. Health is devolved, majority remains here. Water is devolved. All those big dams should be built in counties, should not be built by the national government.
Yeah.
So we push that money back into the counties, to mwananchi, because the county governments understand the problems at the county level. That's how the United States was able to develop. That is how some of these many countries like Canada were able to develop, because put majority of the money to the regions, to the counties, and the country will move up. The jobs should be created in the counties, not in the big cities.
A lot of questions coming in. Of course, we got to go back to that one about corruption. A lot of young people, when we go to the ballot, we go with the understanding that whatever you've promised me is what you're going to fulfill.
Yes.
But what we have is a scenario where a leader goes in there, you know, after a few days you start seeing kwanza ameongoza mshahara, the next thing ame allocate familia yake. And you talked about bureaucracy, but there's also structures in government. I saw someone tweeting the other day and they said that there's no incentive within government for corruption not to happen.
Yeah,
look at what's happening in Ministry of Health right now with the COVID funds. You have the CS saying that there are cartels inside of
Mafia House.
the Mafia House.
Yes.
These same cartels, I remember Governor Sonko, before NMS came into the mess, he said that there are cartels that are fighting him. As president, you have your national ambition, but then there's all these mini cartels. How are you going to deal with that?
You deal with that by making sure that you don't get into bed with the wrong people, because they can give you an STD. And that's what happens in this country. People get into bed with the wrong people. You know that this person is corrupt. You take their money. So when you become president now, what do? You have now to look the other way when they're being investigated. So you need somebody who is clean, who knows, I would rather not get your money, I'd rather not get your funding, but let me get the right people. There are many people here who do good business. There are people who can fund you who just want a clean Kenya. I had a billionaire who came and told me, Mutua, I'll give you 1 billion shillings. Do you know why? Because he wants to have a country where his daughter can go out at night, where his wife can go out to visit other ladies at evening, and will be able to come back at home at midnight without the fear of being carjacked or raped. That's all he wants. He wants a Kenya that is like Dubai, where he can enjoy his money. He wants a Kenya that is like Sweden, where he can enjoy his money, where he can drive everywhere without accidents claiming you because barabara ni mbaya. You know what I mean? We want a country whereby if he's out of the town and he's out of the country and his child falls sick, can be taken to a hospital and given the best treatment without them dying because you come from a country where the systems are failed. You know what I mean? There are many people in this country who just want Kenya to start afresh, and they're clean. Those are the people you hang around with. Otherwise, you find that a lot of the problems we have are greed, and then what they do is that they bring in your family members, they bring in other people, and if you're not very careful, you find even yourself, you've been tainted. Unasema, watu wakamatwe! Wanachukua mama yako. Unasema, ngoja kidogo. Mtu angalia tena, unaona? Because you've allowed them, or it has happened that they have also set you up by being involved in corrupt activities. So you also need to understand how businesses operate. If you say you don't know how businesses operate, how are you going to run a country that thrives on business? You know, and you need to understand how businesses operate. You need to understand how the legal system operates. You need to understand the economy as a leader. So it's complex, but I have served in the national government. I was there when Anglo-leasing was there. I was there when Goldenberg was ending. I was there. I've seen all these maize scandals and everything. I saw the processes that were taken. I was there for the Mamlukis. I have served in the county governments. I have seen the challenges facing the county governments. So I am best placed, having served in both national and county governments, to lead this country. I'll not be learning. I'll not be there learning about Maisha governors. I'm learning how national government operates. I have been there. I have had my hands inside. I have served in the system, but I've not been taken captive by the system.
Before I let you go, a lot of people saying just say hi to Mheshimiwa.
Asante sana. Waambie mambo ni fresh na Mutua, and this is our time. And I want to, before you finish, let me tell you a short story.
I have a question
you'll give me a chance to do that before you finish.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. It's all nice what you're saying. In fact, it sounds good. It sounds it sounds like something, and I know a lot of people who are responding are like, it sounds good.
It is good. Because it's our time, Kwamboka. Let us not apologize. Let us do, Eliud Kipchoge told us, let us not limit ourselves. Let us stop dreaming. You know what I mean?
But what part do we play?
The part
as the young people, because we are 70% of the population, and I always say this to a lot of young people. I always say, even as Governor Mutua kwa hapa na waambia story, remember to go back to your notebook and write, what did he say that aligns to the thing that I want to achieve in my life.
Sasa Kwamboka, hiyo ndio swali umeuliza. Hiyo ingine ulikuwa unauliza maswali, lakini hiyo ndio swali.
At the
end of the day,
it
it comes back to this. We are the ones who are responsible for the leaders in power. We are the ones who can make a decision. And we are the ones to say, tumenjoy ya kutosha. The young people in this country are the majority, yet they are the poorest. Why? Because we've ceded our power of the vote to others who control us. We've ceded our power to people who put us in tribal lines. Look at people today. A Kamba is dating a Kisii. A Luo is dating a Luya. A Luya is dating a Kikuyu. A Kikuyu is dating a Masai. Nobody cares among the young population where you come from.
Yeah.
You know, we've moved on from that generation. But yet our political leaders wanatuambia wewe ni Mkamba, wewe ni Mkikuyu, kingpin wewe ni huyu. As if that kingpin is going to help you.
Yeah.
Because our children now are from different tribes. You know, and so we have to break away and say Kenya needs to start afresh. The way the US ushered in Obama, we need a new Obama. And I'm saying that just like Obama, we are going to say yes we can. We are going to say we are not going to be limited. And so young people, wherever you are, you need to say enough is enough. Tumenjoy ya kutosha. We need somebody new. Let me ask you, all these other leaders running for president, who are they in the national government? Some have been campaigned for years. What new thing will they bring into the national government that they haven't done already? What nini watalete that they have been unable to do when they become president? What new innovative idea will they bring? Ama itakuwa ni ile tu kawaida ya mikutano tu kuimba kwa kumbaya. At the end of the day, the youth are unemployed. If you have a thief running for president, you have a corrupt person running for president, you have people who don't have the energy running for president, without new ideas, who have been held captive by their supporters, where will we go? As young people will be the ones to suffer, will remain poor as the rich continue becoming richer. So, Kwamboka, when you finish standard 8, ulipita. I don't know if you did standard 8.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.
Yeah.
Ukaenda form 1. So you respect the teachers who made you pass.
Yeah.
But did you go with them to form 1? When you finished secondary school, ukahitimu, ukaenda university kusomea international relations. Did you take your home science, your physics, your civic teacher to university to teach you international relations?
Mi sikufanya civic.
Yeah.
But no.
But no. Ukaenda hapo.
Yeah.
You don't find that you respect your secondary school teachers, but they don't take you to university to teach you law or other things, or those skills. In the same way in our country, we've had leaders who have served us, and I want to say, asante sana Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. You took us from uko kwa forest mkiwa na Jaramogi, ukatupeleka nursery. Asante sana Daniel Arap Moi, mulitoa nursery ukatuingiza primary. Asante sana Mwai Kibaki, umetusomesha primary ukaacha tumeingia nini? Tumeingia secondary. Asante sana Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, Raila Odinga, umetupeleka hii secondary, tumehitimu, sasa tunaenda university. We need a new teacher. We need a new professor in the university. And that's where Dr.Alfred Mutua comes in as the 5th president of this country, because we need to move on. If you continue with your primary school teacher all the way to university, you become a failed nation. So young people, we have an opportunity to say, yes, you guys have done well. Let us start afresh. Let's reboot this, because we are tired of being broke. We are tired of being hungry. We are tired of living desperate lives, whereas our colleagues born on the same birthday in other countries are driving cars, are living in good homes, are enjoying their life. Why am I suffering here and I was created by the same God?
There's still so many questions I haven't asked you. Kuna moja aliongea juu ya Formula 1 track, ilienda ngapi?
Yes. Inakuja. And this is, let me tell you what delayed the Formula 1 track. It is the kind of leaders that people elect. We started a new city.
Yeah.
We brought in investors from outside, signed MOUs worth 2.1 trillion shillings, like the budget of Kenya.
Yeah.
What happened? The Senate of Machakos Mudama went to court. There was an injunction for nearly 6 years, stopping any movement of anything. So all that time, investors moved away. Mohammed Al-Abar, who has constructed the biggest building in the world, Burj Khalifa, with MR Company, he was going to put up a mall and employ 50,000 people and highways in Machakos. When we gave him the title last year, akasema, I'm sorry, I divided the money, put some in Angola, some in Uganda. The Kenyan youth suffered. And the examples are many. Ashok Leyland were going to build a factory of making cars, employ 20,000 youth. They put it in Egypt. We took so long. So this is the kind of leaders that we young people elect, who have regressive thinking, and then we suffer.
I gotta let you go. Thank you so much. Tumeongea mengi
But
sana.
I want to ask your listeners, young people, tuseme mambo ni fresh na Mutua. It is our time, and I request you for your support. Please follow me on Twitter, Dr. Alfred Mutua, on Facebook also, Dr. Alfred Mutua, and also on my Instagram page. Look for me, find me. Let's keep the conversation going. Mambo ni fresh na Mutua. When somebody says mambo, mwambie fresh
na Mutua. Asante sana Bwana Mutua, and we wish you all the best. I know that kuna maswali mengi. I hope umemtag. I know you will respond to our people on hashtag Vibes MVP.
I will.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Mambo fresh.
Thank you. Mambo ni fresh.
106.2 FM Kericho on Vibes Radio.